Talking about putting a new spring in your thing. Recoil springs are one of those things that, in my opinion, can get some people into trouble. Particularly, let's just take the Glock platform, which is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be putting in a DPM spring system in my Glock 45 and my 43X. Actually, they're already in here and I've already shot them and everything like that. But typically what I see when I see guys who start messing with their Glocks in particular, because Glock out of the box is generally a pretty reliable platform. As soon as they start putting stuff under the hood, they start modifying and tinkering, that's when we start to lose that Glock reliability that we have come to know and love. So when I first received this product, I admit I was skeptical. I was wondering how it would handle a wide variety of ammunition, practice ammunition, lightweight, heavyweight, duty ammunition, carry ammunition, whatever it might be. And is this strictly a range toy, or is it going to be something that we could rely on? My name is Dave Tim from Guns and Tactics. Thank you guys very much for spending a few minutes of your day checking out this video where I test the DPM Systems Technologies Multiple Springs Recoil Reduction Systems. And yes, I had to read that because it is a mouthful. But right up front, I'm going to get the bottom line up front. I was impressed. I have shot this gun, probably has 1,500 to 2,000 rounds, give or take, in it. And the Glock 43X version has probably just under 500, give or take. But I was sent these as a sample to check out. They're not paying me. I have no relationship with them. I was just sent a couple of samples to check out and basically share my thoughts, and that's exactly what I've been doing. So we're gonna go through how much, where to get them, all that other stuff. Now, I got mine from Rainier. Pricing and availability, we'll just get that right off the bat, is anywhere from 70 to 90-ish dollars, depending on what you get. They make springs for a wide variety of firearms, whether that be the captured Glock. And the captured Glock is basically a drop-in replacement. It's just like what you would take out of your gun and put back in your gun. But then what I got is the multiple recoil system. And that's what I wanted to kind of play with a little bit because I wanted to tune it. And it worked really good. So let's just start with the Glock 45 version, and obviously everything is unloaded and clear for all the internet range safety officers out there. But this is where you can start to see just a little bit of a difference of what's going on under the hood compared to the factory part. Now the factory part is a contained system. It's all one piece. It has two springs and it's a set weight. And these honestly work really good. When they came out with this system in the Gen 4, it was a huge upgrade. However, I do like to tune if I can, and I will say that the performance that I saw was improved with this system. So when I take this out, we start to notice a little bit of a difference. It's not a captured system. Now, let's talk about the guide rod here for a quick sec. This is their multi-spring intricate rod. You can see one spring here, and I'm assuming there's another type of a spring somewhere in here, and it is not serviceable. You can't take this apart. It's basically, you know, pressed together here. So this is how it is. But then what you can tune is this spring here as well as this washer. So I'm going to take that washer off for a quick sec, and we'll talk about the washers here in just a moment. But my kit for the 19X, 45, etc., it comes with two springs, and you can see that this one is shorter than this one, so obviously it's going to be a little bit lighter weight. But then we also get these washers, and these washers are different height as well. We have a taller washer and a shorter washer. Now in the directions, it goes over what we're supposed to do. So we have kind of some diagrams of basically what we're supposed to use, and we're only supposed to use one washer, so don't stack the washers or anything like that. Now, they recommend the small washer for 9mm, which is what I'm using, and then the longer spring is the higher power, the shorter spring is the lower power. So basically what I ran for most of my testing, I did try the other one and it ran just fine, but I was running the shorter spring with the short washer. Now, you can see that this washer here is basically what will interface with the slide. So when we insert that like so, we do have a nice good fit. Looks great, no issues, no slop or anything like that, and it was just fine for all my testing. So then once we pick your spring and the appropriate washer, again, check the directions. All we're gonna do is we're gonna put the spring on that new guide rod, make sure it is seated. Now, installation isn't too bad compared to a regular spring. However, I find that you need to hold the barrel in place because we do have to take a little bit more time compressing the spring. So make sure that the washer is seated into the front of the slide and then slowly compress. And I'm trying to get that so you can see it on camera. So the guide rod will keep going into the spring, and it's a little bit longer, a little bit more tricky than, you know, your traditional guide rod. But basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna compress that down and then move the guide rod into the position on the barrel as shown, as it's supposed to be. And then we can go ahead and put that back on our slide, and everything works just fine. So that is that system. Now I'm going to show you the Glock 43X version because I was running that in my Glock 43X, and I was, again, very impressed with this system as well. So here you can see the Glock 43X. And with this one, we don't have a washer, but we do have different spring options. So we have the main guide rod, the spring that you can see here, and then we can choose. Now, the cool thing with the 43X kit is that this came with 3 different springs. So we have our factory. This is, again, the contained unit, but now we have 3 different springs to choose from, depending on, you know, what ammunition you're using, what weight, carry weight, powder, whatever. We have the short, we have a medium and a long, and again, those ultimately coordinate with the strength. The longest is going to be the highest strength spring. The systems are made in Europe, and they are finished in what they are calling a BOSS, B-O-S-S, for black oxide stainless steel. It's an innovative coating technology applied usually on the visible parts of the recoil system. And that's their words. I don't know a ton about it, if it's what specific type of finish it is, but it looks smooth. I didn't see any machining marks or burrs or damage or anything like that on either one of the systems, and the springs look to be quality springs as well. Again, no burrs, no sloppy clipping, no bent damage, you know, whatever. They came exactly as you would expect them out of the package. So no issues on initial kind of quick quality assessment and inspection when I first got them. Things to test that I wanted to test right away was I wanted to insert 1 round in the magazine, fire, make sure I got lock back, which I did. Then I would fire a couple, and then I would do various drills to make sure that the gun would perform with a variety of ammunition. And I tested it with duty, I tested it with carry, I tested it with practice, all different types of weights, and everything was really good. Now, the big question, is it worth it? Does it make a difference? And I will say I could feel a difference. Now, with the Glock, you generally kind of have a recoil spike that's, we'll just say generically something like that. I feel the slide going back, and then it goes forward. It goes back, forward. And it's something repeating up along that line. And with the DPM systems, especially with the G45, it kind of felt like more like a curve, you know? So it was kind of more smoother. I didn't have that chunk, 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 chunk. It was just a nice, smooth recoil impulse. Now, I can manage recoil pretty well in general, but I noticed that with this gun, and even with the 43X, which I wouldn't say is a bad shooting gun, but it's obviously a little bit more snappy, the performance increase was noticeable. And I mean, I'm not saying it's like huge, like adding a compensator and powder puff loads, but it was noticeable and enjoyable. Who I think is going to benefit from this? A couple of things. Number one, when I handed my 43X to a few different shooters that were new to shooting, and I had this lighter weight spring in here, they noted from my stock 43X that I have 2 and I keep one completely stock. They noticed that racking the slide was a little bit easier with the DPM system. So that was a benefit for them with manipulating it. Now, some people who have weaker hands, smaller hands, they're new shooters, they struggle with racking the slide. And yes, that can be cured with technique. That's a whole nother video, and I get that people are going to rant about it. But the reality is they noticed it was a little bit easier to rack the slide, which was a plus for them. Additionally, I didn't have any stoppages with the guns with the springs installed. So I had no issues with that. Now, for those of you that are maybe building your own or assembling your own, so you have your parts kit, your frame kit, whatever, and you're looking for a good quality component, well then I would say, yeah, look at this. Now, is it going to be more than the factory part? Absolutely. You know, on the good old days, factory recoil springs, you know, we're probably around a quarter-ish of the price of the DPM system. But if you want to tune this and you want to put the different spring weights, you want to, you know, basically fine-tune this similar to how we can tune a 1911 or 2011 with different spring weights. And yes, I realize there are other systems on the market for Glock guns that you can do the same, but this is probably one of the nicest that I've seen, especially because most of the other systems out there have a single guide rod and you use a single weight spring, whereas this is using different weight springs plus an integrated spring system in the guide rod, or intricate spring rod is what they call it. But ultimately, I've been pretty impressed. I'm going to keep running it. And if you guys have any questions about this or anything else, drop a comment below. Hope you guys found that helpful. If you're thinking about it, I would say it's worth the money. It's worth checking out. They also do have a rifle kit that I'll be checking out in the future, and I'll probably throw one in my SIG 320 AXG, which I haven't quite gotten all put together, but I'll probably throw one in there too, because I know a lot of SIG guys who are using the DPM recoil system in their SIG 320 20s with great results. And those are, again, carry guns, duty guns, whatever. So good things that I'm hearing there. For more information, you can check out our webpage. I'll put a link in the description below where you can go to our webpage and you can learn a little bit more about it. You can have some options to check things out, go from there. Like I said, if you have any questions about this or anything firearms related, drop a comment in the section below, or better yet, email us. That email address is theqa@gunsandtactics.com, and at the end of the month, I answer your questions. Now, we also give away a cool prize to one winner at the end of the show, and we are on our way to 100,000 subscribers, and we're gonna have a massive giveaway. So please, if you haven't subscribed, share. We'd love to have you as a part of our community. For the regular viewers who want to support us, the best way is through our Patreon network. Thank you guys very much for watching, and have a great day.